World Sport. I'm Amanda Davis and this is CNN.
Living Golf, in association with Gulf Saudi. After more than 2 years of border closures due to the pandemic, countries in Southeast Asia are opening back up. From Thailand to Vietnam, a host of unique golf courses are on offer.
The speed at which golf is developing in this country is phenomenal.
And young homegrown talents making golf history.
I think the thing with Thai golfers is that we're very fortunate.
The region is betting big on golf as a symbol of economic development and a rising middle class.
There's no gender, no age, no limitation in golf. Everyone can play together.
On this month's Living Golf, we'll visit Asia's first replica course. Check out the action at a tournament in Thailand.
Can't disappoint when CNN's here.
And find out why Vietnam is angling to become the world's best golfing destination.
More than ever before, elite golf is a young person's sport. At present, the average age of the world's male top 10 players is just 28, and nowhere is that better exemplified than in Thailand, where we caught up with a teen sensation who's having a massive impact and really building on his country's proud legacy.
Whether it's golfing legend Tiger Woods, whose mother Kuntida comes from Kanchanaburi, Thailand.
There's a part of the Thai people that all look up to him because he's half of us, basically.
Thai pro golfer Thongchai Jaidi, with 20 professional wins under his belt.
He's Asian Tour legend, won the European Tour several times, and I've been very fortunate to meet him in person.
Or rising star Patty Tavatanakit, a Bangkok native who became her country's first major winner at the 2021 ANA Inspiration. There's something in the water in Thailand that's producing top talent.
I think the thing with Thai golfers is that we're very fortunate as juniors. Like, we would have tournament every single week, and I think Thai parents are pretty competitive as well, so they push their kids hard, and those who come out still loving the game of golf, I think, can go really far.
Ratchanon Chantananawat, aka TK, is a Thai golf sensation.
A 15-year-old wonderkind who first picked up a club at the tender age of 3.5, heavily influenced by his father.
My dad especially had a lot of love for the game, and I just followed him to the range, started hitting plastic balls, plastic clubs, and apparently I was flying it okay, and then he got me into some proper clubs a little bit later than that, and then he took me to compete when I was a little bit past 4 for the first time. My dad loved Tiger. I watched his replays, and he'd tell me stories of all his great accomplishments.
TK, whose nickname is a combination of the first initials of his parents' names, says he still remembers experiencing his first loss when he was 4.
I saw the kid who got the trophy, and I got really, really jealous, and I didn't know why I didn't get one, so I was really upset, and then my dad had to explain to me how he won, so he got the trophy. So for that next month, he practiced me really hard, and I got a trophy. After that, I enjoyed that, and I think I just developed a love for golf.
That love for golf has taken him far. In January, he almost became the youngest ever winner at 14 years old on the Asian Tour at the Singapore International.
I finished 3rd in my first ever international pro event, so that was great.
Today at the Siam Country Club in the beachside town of Pattaya, TK is playing the Trust Golf Asian Mixed Series, a competition held jointly on the Asian Tour and Ladies European Tour.
Can't disappoint when CNN's here. Honestly, a Ladies European Tour, I don't know what they're like, I don't know how good they can play, With an Asian Tour field, I'm pretty confident, but this week, I think I'm just not going to overlook the cut line.
With his father caddying, TK says that his life revolves entirely around school and golf. He says he doesn't have plans to turn pro just yet and is considering studying physics in college.
So I think that one of the pitfalls that people really try to warn me is burning out, because obviously I practice pretty hard, especially when I don't have school. I practice really hard, 7, 8, 9 hours a day. I don't get much day offs, and people tell me just watch out, take a day off, don't burn out. But I don't see it happening. I love golf, I love practicing. Yes, it's hard, it hurts, and it takes in a lot of discipline, but even just 2 months of super hard work just to get that one good shot or just a good result, I think it pays off for me.
And pay off it did. TK was on fire, shooting a 7-under par 65 to finish on 20 under and claim the $750,000 Trust Golf Asian Mixed Cup, thus becoming the youngest ever male player to win on one of golf's major tours. But the newly crowned champ doesn't let himself dwell on the historic moment for too long.
Trying to balance school and golf is really hard because, it's very stereotypical, not just golf, but apparently if you're an athlete, you can't do good in school. I'm trying to change that. I'd love to do well in both and prove all the doubters wrong.
コーヒーの持つ力って人と人をつなぐ力だと思ってて、うちの会社のビジョンっていうのは日本のコーヒーといえばフィロコフィアってなることなんですよ。からそれを達成するには世界に向けた通販が必要だったんですよね。
Afghan women are afraid that this is the beginning of your efforts to erase them from the workspace.
It's not clear. Even if we appear with the burqa, maybe they will say that women's voices are forbidden.
Did you ever imagine that you would be prevented from going to school?
Girls' education is fundamental to the dignity of Afghan life.
Do you believe that young girls will be allowed to go to school here in Afghanistan?
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah, on a roll, here we go.
Got it.
Yeah. On a roll, here we go.
Nurturing young golfers, whether amateur or professional, requires investment in competitive opportunities and title sponsorships. In Southeast Asia, the return of the Asian Tour this year after a 20-month hiatus due to the pandemic spells big opportunity for the region's players.
"30 minutes from pleasure-seeking Pattaya is the Siam Country Club Waterside. An 18-hole par 72 course featuring lakes and creeks spread over 300 acres. In April, the course played host to the Trust Golf Asian Mixed Series, a collaboration between the Asian Tour and the Ladies European Tour. For CEO and Commissioner of the Asian Tour, Cho Min Tant, it's a relief to see players back on the fairway.
Coming back out of the COVID pandemic, we really didn't know where we would be. We're lucky to be in this position where we've actually come back stronger than ever.
Tant calls 2022 a rebirth for the Asian Tour. After a long 20 months of pandemic-related inactivity, he's come to Pattaya to attend the tour's first ever mixed event.
And the thing that excites me the most is the untapped potential in Asia. I mean, there's lots of destinations which are very familiar to tourists in terms of golf tourism. You've got Thailand, which is #1 on everyone's travel list. You've got Indonesia with destinations like Bali. You've got the Philippines, you've got Vietnam, you've got Singapore, Malaysia. And I feel that it's very underdeveloped, and there's an opportunity for us to really grow in these markets.
Thai entrepreneur Prin Singanat is also bullish on the future of the sport in her country. In 2019, she founded Trust Golf, a development centre in Bangkok where technology like augmented reality and robotics is being leveraged to empower golfers with data on their performance. For Singanat, it's also about sponsoring tournaments.
We have the talent, but we need the stage for them to play. So to create that opportunity for the kids to play, it means I got to own a tournament. I got to create the tournament. I got to sponsor the tournament so that I can get that exemptions for all this that I'm incubating to play.
As a trained physicist, Singanat approaches the incubation of Thai talent with a scientific rigor. Her hypothesis that young players need inspiration, development, and most crucially, the opportunity to compete.
After being nurtured here in Thailand for a while, are they ready to step up? Are they ready to go out there? Seeing the leaderboard, I'm pleased. I cannot be more proud. Lots of Thai flag is out there already.
We like to show the kids out there that golf is a viable career. And now that the prize monies and the number of tournaments on the Asian Tour is increasing, I hope they look at golf as a viable option as a career.
Singanat says she's also motivated by more personal reasons.
I'm a selfish mom. The only sport that would allow me, when I'm 50, that my son would also take me to play and to introduce with his friend is the golf course. So that is part of it. And there's no gender, no age, no limitation in golf. Everyone can play together. So that's the thing.
For Tant, this moment is a new era for Asian golf.
I'm really happy to see the Asian Tour growing, and instead of our players having to go to Europe and go to other tours to make a good living, they're hopefully going to stay in Asia and develop their skills right here in front of us and become world-class players by playing in Asia.
It's about pathway. I'm creating a pathway for the golfer right now. It's not only for us in Thailand, but right now, because as a Thai, I need a subject. I need a subject to prove my theory that if we provide them inspiration, development, and opportunity, anyone in this entire world, giving them that, they can go somewhere within 2 years, they'll make a blast. You can create a star.
I would describe One World as compelling, inclusive, and original.
One World with Zain Asher, weeknights on CNN.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On a roll, here we go.
Got it.
Yeah. on a roll. Here we go, here we go.
Visiting the world's most famous golf courses from Scotland to the United States requires deep pockets and ample leisure time. But just outside Thailand's capital, we visited a replica golf course, which might just be the next best thing.
As many as 63 holes pepper the Royal Gems City Golf Club, an hour's drive outside of Bangkok. And what makes this 560-acre property special might be a familiar sight to any golf enthusiast. Billing itself as Asia's first replica course, RG City boasts 18 holes that are inspired by some of the world's most iconic golf courses. There's the notorious Amen Corner from Augusta National, as well as the picturesque postage stamp from Scotland's Royal Troon.
Fortunately, my first shot found the church pew bunker here at the inspired hole of Oakmont number 4. Well, that was a good shot. Many golfers aspire to play at the holes they see on TV, although it's difficult because the clubs that are featured in the professional tournaments are either private members clubs that don't allow visitors or very, very expensive.
Mark Siegel is the owner and managing director of Golf Asian, one of Southeast Asia's largest golf tour operators. Siegel says the main draw of this Thai course is that visitors can play largely faithful facsimiles of golf's most rarefied locales.
Okay, here we are at a hole that's been inspired by TPC Sawgrass 17th hole, which is normally played as the 71st hole of the Tournament Players Championship. About approximately 1 month ago, this hole was played in 0-degree weather. Today we're in 90-degree weather.
With its peninsula concept for the green, this replica hole mimics its Floridian original down to
9 famous holes from around the world. 4 of them are from the United States, and then 4 of them are from Europe and one from England. So we can go back and forth between Florida and the UK in about 10 steps, whereas a supersonic transport couldn't even make it that quick. The back nine's a little different. It's 9 holes inspired by the back 9 of Augusta National from Augusta, Georgia.
In 1997, Siegel founded Golf Asian in Bangkok with an aim to give lessons to golf tourists. He says his company pivoted quickly to organizing golf vacations. For him, the biggest appeal for golfers traveling to Southeast Asia might not actually be the golf itself.
The value of coming to Southeast Asia to play golf is not the golf. If someone wants to play good golf, I have one recommendation for them: stay home, because there's very, very good golf in most countries of the world. The attraction to play golf in Asia is really the outside of the golf, particularly the service, the costs, the culture, the weather, and friendship that people make when they're traveling.
Golf came to Southeast Asia as a result of colonialism and exchanges with Europeans. The French built the first course in Vietnam in the 1920s, while golf was introduced to Thailand in the late 1800s by members of the royal family after their travels to Europe. Today, Thailand is home to more than 250 golf courses. And despite the lack of tourism over the last couple of years, Siegel says that courses in Thailand actually benefited during the pandemic.
The domestic demand for golf here, Vietnam, and most other countries is up 15–20% from the pre-pandemic levels already. A, it's a very socially distant sport compared to others. B, the golfers had no place to travel to, so they played more at home. And C, a lot of people had a lot of time, so golf takes a lot of time. Entering the sport was a good time to do that.
As for the state of golf tourism in the region, Siegel says it'll take some time to recover and that courses like RG City are one of the ways to lure golfers to the region.
We started to see business pick up about 6 months ago. We're maybe about 15% of the pre-pandemic levels now. I think it'll take 1 or 2 more years to get back up to 2019 levels. So one of the best things about living here and golfing here is a 365-day-a-year sport. The temperature is hot and humid throughout the years, so it's minimal to golf all the time.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On a roll, here we go.
Got it.
Yeah. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
After more than 2 years of border closures, Vietnam is once again open for business, and the Southeast Asian country is betting big on golf tourism. With dozens of courses dotted along its 3,000 kilometers of coastline, Vietnam was awarded World's Best Golf Destination at the World Golf Awards in 2021. And we traveled there to find out why.
There are 4 promising Vietnamese junior golfers between 10 and 15 years old. Today they're being trained by Tang Thi Nung, Vietnam's first female professional golfer turned coach.
My ambition and my goal for junior in Vietnam is actually first I want to build up as many junior play golf as I can. I'm not so much focused about the quality and the level of play, but I just want a lot of junior play and they have fun and they have opportunity to know golf and learn about golf.
Nung says that introducing as many youngsters to the sport as possible makes sense in light of what she calls a booming golf industry in the country. These young golfers are playing at the Bluffs Ho Tram Strip, opened in 2014 and a 3-hour drive from Ho Chi Minh City. It's an 18-hole championship golf course set amid the windswept dunes of southern Vietnam and designed by the great white shark, Greg Norman.
You only need to look at the piece of land that Greg Norman was gifted to work with. You know, it's a wonderful piece of land so close to the ocean. And the undulations and the dunes that have been formed over hundreds and hundreds of years lean perfectly to a links-style golf course, which this is.
Gary Dixon is the golf general manager of the Bluffs. He says the pace of golf's development in Vietnam reminds him of his native Australia back in the 1980s.
The speed at which golf is developing in this country is phenomenal. I've never seen anything like it before.
In the resort-strewn coastal city of Da Nang in central Vietnam, another property is noted for being the home of 2 courses designed by golfing greats Greg Norman and Jack Nicklaus.
Here you have the Norman course, which was the first course in Da Nang. It's a very natural links course called the Dunes, and it has the most wonderful topography and challenge and coastal views and mature trees and rolling links. And it's a really classic golf course that's been in the top 100 in the world for many, many years now. Then we contrast that with the new Nicklaus design bulkhead course, which has vertical walls of North American hardwood that abut bodies of water directly next to greens and fairways, and create this total contrast between two courses, whereby you could be in two different countries playing each course.
Mark Reeves oversees all of the golf projects developed by BRG Group, a Hanoi-based conglomerate whose core businesses lie in its initials: banking, real estate, and of course, golf. He says that Vietnam has distinct advantages when it comes to the sport.
12-month season, wonderful, friendly people, a high standard of course development. It's just a wonderful place to visit and enjoy.
BRG Group currently owns and operates 7 18-hole courses across Vietnam, making them one of the biggest golf developers in the country. The company's chairman, Nguyen Chi Nha, says she first discovered golf in 1999, when she became the owner of Kings Island Golf Course on the outskirts of Hanoi.
Back then, there were no more than 10 golf courses in total, but now the number is close to 100. The growth is very healthy. When I bought my first golf course, I was only doing business in real estate and banking. I wasn't a golf expert. Now, after playing golf for 17 years, I love golf courses and love playing golf. Every time I play, I feel like I'm 20 years younger.
With Vietnam reopening its borders earlier this year, Nha says she's confident that overseas golfers will be impressed by her country's offerings. BRG is currently developing 2 new courses, one in the Red River Delta, as well as the former imperial city of Hue. For Nha, golf is as much a passion project as it is a business opportunity.
Talking about golf, this is the sport that, for me, it's like my life, and it is also my love. I think Vietnam can be regarded as the world's best golf destination for many years to come. I hope that golf will be a main component of the tourism industry in Vietnam.
Living Golf, in association with Gulf Saudi.
What's it like to be Barry Manilow?
He writes the songs that make the whole world sing.
Oh, look, a piano.
Oh, imagine that. Fans love him.
You're one of my idols.
Critics, not always.
It wasn't just one critic, it was all of them.
Join me as I ask Barry Manilow about being famous.
There were a couple of years there that I was a brat.
Being inspired.
My proudest moment as a songwriter.
And being an icon for decades.
Being Barry Manilow, Tuesday on CNN.
South Korea's new president, Yoon Suk-yeol, sits down with CNN in an exclusive interview. See what this former prosecutor has to say about the threat of North Korea.
What would your message to Kim Jong-un be?
Talk Asia, tonight on CNN.
We provide products that make it easy for consumers and institutions to be part of the digital currency market. One of the first things that I tell folks getting involved in the crypto market is we're still in the early stages of it. Less than 5% of US institutions have ever traded crypto. And probably single-digit % of the world's population has ever interacted with a cryptocurrency. That number goes up every single year, and as it does, the total market cap of crypto goes up as well. And so, I don't know if we go from 5% of institutions to 15% this year or next year, but this is the future. Finance powered by open source crypto protocols and a financial system for the internet is an inescapable trend in our world today. And It's only a question of your time horizon. And that's why it's so important to be a long-term investor when you're an investor in the crypto market.
I'm Paula Hancock in Seoul. This is CNN.
Quest's World of Wonder, in association with Turkish Airlines.
Gorgeous. This is what a vacation looks like. I have been in Izmir merely a matter of hours. And already I'm being warmly welcomed by the ladies of the Fancy Women's Bike Group. They are singing songs I don't know, but humming along seems to work well. The ancient port city of Smyrna. Today, Izmir is Turkey's third largest city. They call it the Pearl of the Aegean. People have been settling by these shores for around 8,000 years.
Welcome to Izmir, Richard.
Ah, wonderful to be here. Cycling may be fun, but at my arthritic knees, a brisk walk along the promenade will do just as well. It is good to feel the sun on my face after a long, hard winter. And even if the temperatures here in Izmir haven't risen yet, and there's a brisk breeze off the Aegean, it is the perfect way to start my visit to Western Turkey. I'm here before the tourist hordes arrive. While there is still the good weather, good food, it's a good life. And the day starts with a good local delicacy, only to be found here in Izmir.
100% handmade bakery. We do it with the traditional way.
It's one that requires skill and experience to get right. Boyoz. How easy is it to make?
It's not easy to make it because you should spend 10 years to learn how to make boyoz, but it's delicious to eat it.
A perfect challenge if ever I heard one, for me to embarrass myself having a go. Assuming I can get up these very steep stairs. Those knees again.
So the dough contains only flour, water, and salt. So he's gonna turn the dough in the air.
This is how it's supposed to be done. It's all in the muscle memory for the master baker. No recipe required. And everyone's handmade?
Yeah.
But machines can make it?
No, there's no machine to make boyoz.
Where does this come from?
Actually, boyoz belongs to Sephardic Jewish people's kitchen. They moved to Izmir more than 400 years ago. So when they come, they bring their culture actually and their kitchen actually. So since beginning of 20th century, boyoz belongs to Izmir.
Bearing in mind that they make 1,500 of these a day, so that means there has to be 10 in a rack, so there's 150 of these have to be done. And so to the moment we've been waiting for. I shall try not to disappoint. Yeah. Well, it was going well. There we go. Oh, if you make a mess, you've got to tidy it up, haven't you? If in doubt. It's supposed to be getting longer, but it's actually getting smaller. But you won't notice if I just go up it like this. I've got bad news for you. You're going to go out of business if I do this. I'm almost embarrassed to offer this to the oven. Let's assume I don't fall down these stairs and kill myself. Come on. While I wait, it would be rude not to sample the goods. Oh, this is hotter than I thought it was going to be. Oh. Ah. I'm like a child who can't wait. I'm paying the consequences. My mouth is now burned. I've got chocolate everywhere, and I can't stop. My batch is ready, and the proof is going to be in the pudding, or if you will, the bouillots. So, let's ask, which ones are mine, and which are the chef's? I bet you can't tell the difference, can you?
Yeah, of course I can. These are yours. These are our chiefs.
What's the one word that you would describe Izmir? How would you describe Izmir? One word.
We are so lucky in Izmir because our life is vacation in Izmir.
This phrase, life is a vacation, it is something I will hear again and again here. Now, fortified with buyers and needing to work off those calories, it's to the landmark Konak Square. Here the pleasures are simple and they are everywhere. And all around are the ladies selling bird seed for the pigeons. Now, of course, I'm feeling guilty about who I'm going to buy from. How much are you? No, little one, little one. Feed the birds, tuppence a bag, tuppence a bag. I don't think Mary Poppins would approve of me messing around like this. I enjoyed that. Who's the bigger kid here?
300 million years ago, there was no Africa, Asia, Americas, or Europe. Just one big supercontinent, Pangea. And today, there is still a force connecting those divided by distance, reversing millions of years of rifting. Making far feel close, bringing there to here. Turkish Airlines.
We share this place, we all belong.
Izmir is a smorgasbord of religions, with the great Abrahamic faiths all here. call to prayer comes from the imams, the church bells ring, and the chazans chant. As a Jew, I'm of course especially interested in the role played by the Sephardic Jewish community. As I discovered with Boyoz, the Jews arrived here in the 16th century, having been exiled from Spain. They settled and built a thriving community, endowing hundreds of synagogues. And all the synagogues, there were dozens at one point. I mean, there's one, two on the other side, that's 4. This one here, that's 5, all back to back. Imagine what it must have been like on Shabbat or High Holy Days with all the chazans and all the rabbis, eh?
3 more around the corner from here.
Today, a mere handful remain that Tilda Goenka is delighted to show me.
Hevra, Shalom is over there.
And these are the ones that are still here?
Yes.
Not versus the ones that have gone?
Absolutely.
Where are you from?
From Izmir. Born in Izmir, and well, from one side, from my father's side, it's been 2 generations. From my mother's side, more than that, they are from Izmir.
Like so many cities that originally had big Jewish communities, as the numbers dwindled in the early 20th century,
This is very nice.
so these shuls were neglected and then closed.
Well, look at this.
It's a really uplifting sight to see here several synagogues lovingly renovated, restored as cultural heritage sites.
This is beautiful, isn't it? Such beautiful detail. I'd love to have seen a Shabbat service here.
The local band Salute de Smyrna is happy to play Sephardic and Aegean songs. And as I listen, I can imagine the congregations and the prayers and those family moments celebrated here.
What is the strength of the religion of the Jewish community here now?
Around 1,000 people. Only a little bit more than a century, let's say. The population of the Jewish community in Izmir would go around 30 to 40,000 people.
Wow. What happened?
Around 1910s, 1920s, it was very trendy to go on adventurous trips, maybe to settle, with the hope of getting settled actually, to the Americas.
So, from what I can see, and certainly by the way these synagogues are beautifully and lovingly restored, Izmir considers this to be an important part of its history.
Absolutely. When you are losing your population, you are either going to close up yourselves totally and wait until you disappear, or you are going to open up yourself a little bit and show your heritage, and then people will also remember that's a part of their heritage as well.
Tradition, heritage, memories. It may be years since anyone davened here, but the spirit lives on. And I'm discovering just how rich a melting pot Izmir has always been.
$300 million years ago, there was no Africa, Asia, Americas, or Europe. Just one big supercontinent, Pangea. And today, there is still a force connecting those divided by distance, reversing millions of years of rifting. Making far feel close, bringing there to here. Turkish Airlines.
Coronavirus. To get daily news updates in your inbox, sign up for the CNN newsletter. Coronavirus. Fact versus fiction.
It is early spring, and Western Turkey is coming alive after its winter slumbers. In a few months, these trees will be heaving with fruit, and the area will be bustling with tourists. It's lovely to be here at this time of the year, when there's a real air of possibility and opportunity. The picturesque village of Şirince is about an hour south of Izmir. It is a gorgeous drive that one should not miss. Today I'm a guest of Mujde Tombekeci, who runs a hotel here when she's not growing crops and making her own olive oil. Mujde fizzes with energy and life. She first came here from Istanbul back in the early 80s. She saw something special and she's never left. We cannot discuss anything until we have tea.
Exactly, in the traditional Turkish way. It's a samovar technique, and so you have the dark tea, the black tea here, and then you put over this the water, and that makes it fantastic.
Lovely.
I came when I was a student 40 years ago. I was a student in Izmir, took the train from Izmir, and I came and I fell in love. I said, this is my paradise. I should spend my life here.
What was it that you saw here?
The nature.
Yeah.
Then the village, the houses, these pretty white washed houses. That's so nice. And the people living here, a laugh, a smile on their faces, and I fell in love with them.
Over here, what am I looking at?
Look, it's so greenish because the sun is fantastic, the early spring sun. And there we have, in this blue-gray color, the trees of olives. We have a lot of orchards, only olives around us. And this village named Şirince, which means almost pretty, is in the tradition olive-producing village.
What happens inside Muj? What happens inside you when you sit and you look at that?
Still, the peace like it was when I came 40 years ago. In each season, it gives me a wonderful joy of life. That's maybe the meaning of this village for me, the joy of life.
Mujde isn't content to allow my eyes to feast on the scenery. She insists my stomach feasts on her cooking, which is renowned.
We are cooking stew in a clay pot in the real village style. Everything should be very, very quick. In the village, you have to do it in 10 minutes and then go to work. Would you like to cut something?
Well, I don't mind doing a bit of cutting.
Yeah, this is black coming from the coal here.
I thought my pen had leaked.
Look, it's ready. And this is the best olive oil that you can find. Would you like to smell that? The olive oil, isn't it nice?
Not everybody's got a fireplace.
You can build it in your kitchen. Oh. Next project.
Yeah, they'll love that. They'll love that on the 23rd floor.
Look how nice it looks. Can you listen? The bubbling.
The bubbling.
Yeah, and the smell. I think we're ready. Then we say, Bismillah. The smell of the village.
Mujde has many talents, and amongst them, giving me a tour of the reason I came here in the first place, Ephesus. This is an ancient city, only a stone's throw from her village.
where tourists from around the world visit to marvel at archaeological wonders. Mujda is mother, Arsen is son. She is the tour guide, he's the ancient historian. He'll give me the facts, she'll give me the feelings. And like a well-rehearsed double act, they go back and forth, enhancing each other's stories and enriching my visit.
Ephesus was a major city of the Roman Empire. It's one of the wealthiest cities in the Eastern Mediterranean.
Marble, you can see everywhere marble and mosaics and wonderful sculptures.
Right now we're in the center of the city. The facade that you see over there is the facade of an ancient library. It's called the Celsus Library. It was built by one of the most important citizens living in this city.
Can you imagine? You enter in a marble place in this library full of columns and nice ladies, and you're in another world.
This was called the Kuret Street. The Kurets were the nobility in Ephesus, so the streets were lined with their statues.
It gives you the feeling of luxury. The luxury and the richness of a town which is fantastic built.
If I can tap you on the shoulder and send you back there, what's the one thing you would like to see?
I would want to walk the streets of Ephesus because we are told that the people dressed here so lavishly, so luxuriously. I would want to see that pageantry going on.
I'm a cook, and the smells are so important. And in the ancient time, there was a fast food restaurant named Thermopylae. I would like so much to go there, pay a penny, and eat whatever they cooked.
In one day here, I have gorged on wonderful views. She says if I drop the coin, you can hear. I don't think so. Did you hear that?
Yes.
And enriched my mind and soul with ancient civilizations. Don't worry, I'll be here all week. And I haven't finished yet.
Bring the energy.
Welcome to the draft.
Aramco Team Series London goes to Team Tower.
3 pros, 1 amateur. Let's go.
It is hard to miss Izmir and Ephesus, but just a little way, there is a town that's becoming a big hit with visitors, Aleciti. Turkish tourists are flocking here for the perfect getaway. And the rest of us are just discovering this hidden gem. Shining sun, crisp air, and people visiting from far and wide for the local herb festival. I'm not sure what or why I'm wearing this garland. Okay. But when in Rome, Perihan Akbulut knows every nook and cranny and is going to show me around.
This is what we call labada, but in Latin language it is rumex. We can roast it, we can cook it, we can boil it.
They are quite open here. They want tourists and more of them.
This is the most precious herb, what we call Şevketi Bostan.
What do you do with it?
You can roast it. It is so good for your kidney and prostate.